Welcome to Confessions number 38. Gary the Supporter. I met Gary on Live Links around 2011, maybe hitting right at 2012. Gary was around, I would say he was hitting at the age of 34, 35, somewhere along that age. He was a black guy. Gary was cool. I liked Gary. Only thing about Gary was a little too supportive. Most women want a man to be their supporter, but Gary was supportive in a type of way that made me feel good about the things I was doing. And on the other hand, it made me question him. Why are you being so supportive to me? You don't even know me. So when I met Gary, we first started talking about the things that we like to do, and you know how it is, basically to break the ice. And at this time, I'm telling him that I'm kind of like going off to sing every weekend, and I'm really just blowing up who I am, because at this time that I'm doing this chat line, I am really on the road traveling a lot. So you got to think that I'm a gospel singer. Yeah, I know, right? I'm a gospel singer. I've been singing now over 40-some years. And during this time was at the peak of, when we was getting a lot of bookings. And so I would have to try to fit people into my schedule. And it just so happened that Gary, the supporter, liked it, what I was doing. And he had ties to different church affiliations, and he would be quick to tell me, I go to church. I mean, I don't go to church, but I got people in my family that go to church that could get you this, could get you that. I mean, he really believed in what I was doing. Now, this thing about Gary was, Gary was so nice to me. But again, nice does not register to me, because the last 20 years, 25 years of my life, I just spent in a domestic violence, miserable relationships. So being nice to me is my red flag. It's what wakes me up and say, you better pay attention to this one. As soon as he was nice, the red flag popped up. And from that moment on, I was waiting for him to fail as a man to me. I just knew he was going to fail some kind of way. But Gary the supporter, he always wanted to see me. And he finally talked me into it. I was like, okay, I'll take a weekend off and come out and hang with you. We began to hang out, and Gary the supporter, he told me a lot about himself, told me that he had a child, and that the woman he used to talk to, the baby mama, he was no longer with her, and that she left him for another man. He had a good line about her, and I do mean the line. I mean, he just really made her look like she absolutely sucked as a woman, and that if he's got anything wrong with him now, it's because of her. Okay, so I brought into it. Why not? Why not believe the cat till I can find out otherwise? All right, this story is complicated in a way, because Facebook is out, and everybody now, Facebook has been out, like 2-3 years. Everybody's skeptical, put their information out on the net. But however, during this time, I knew a lot about Facebook because that's the one thing about me. I know my technology. I'm going to stay up on that. And I get on the internet and I say, you know what? If I find any little piece of something wrong with this guy, I'm finna take him down through there. I'm going to drag him. And I did. I found out Gary the supporter was actually Gary the husband. Gary had a husband and he had a child. The child was true. That really was his child. Where he said he was no longer with the baby mother and he wasn't married was a lie. He was a married man. And here he was, just brought his wife. You know, at this time when them new Chargers came out. He just had brought her a new Charger. And they was all on Facebook celebrating it and just really happy. So I let Gary the supporter keep thinking that I was dumb and that I didn't know any better. And so we would talk and I would come up with all these little crises again. Because again, I love running back to the crisis thing. Because if I could throw you off like that, you wouldn't catch what I was doing. See, the thing about Gary is that he had high hopes of becoming a high clientele manager in the music business. At this time, I'm in the music business as well, and I'm working with some major labels as an A&R and, helping artists get to where they need to be. And he heard about me, and that's how he ended up. Once he met me on Live Links, that's how he ended up trying to press me to get him put on. And I don't care what you say, that's really something that comes from within, that you get put on anything. People can vouch for you, they can speak, but what you do with you is what puts you on or off. Anyways, when we met up, I didn't know about the wife. When we first met up. And that really broke me right there because when we first met up, we went to a little hotel. It was like one of the smallest hotels I ever seen before. Don't get me lying, I don't even know the name of it, but it was so little. I don't think I've ever seen a bedroom that small before. Anyways, it was on this street. I can't even tell you the name of it now, but it was small. And in this room, he has everything laid out, y'all. He had rose petals. He had wine. He had some blunts. Now, I don't like blunts. I don't mind the drinking, but I don't like blunts. Now, all this would have been fine and dandy, and I ain't had no problem with it. The problem was the time of day. Everybody knows that a woman has her own intuition and that we are very investigative. If we want to know something, we're going to find out. So this man did not want to meet on a weekend around, let's say, 3 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon. This man wanted to meet at 11 a.m. on a Thursday. And at that moment, I was like, this must be a booty call. Because nobody wants to get... If you're getting up at this time of day, most likely you hiding something. And you're not going to be able to stay long. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like Gary the supporter was hiding something from me. But I went anyway, because I'm still stupid to it this time. I went to see what he was about, because he did talk me into it, because he did have kind of like a little smooth line. Now he's like, baby, I really like you. Like, I'm going to I'm going to wine and dine you, and I'm going to leave you some change. You my main girl. I really want to get to know you. And I fell for it a little bit, because no matter how vindictive I was still a woman. And even though my heart was black, I still had certain woman things that my mind just needed to hear. I mean, a person can be dark and they still need to hear certain words. And he had those words that I needed to hear. And when I heard those words like, I would say, let me think. One, it could be one word, us, we, us. Those words are binding, like, hey, that doesn't put me as single. That puts me right here with you now. We're on the same page, because it's a we thing now. It's not an I thing. It's like we a team now. So we became that type of team. We met up, got together. There was no sex involved. Again, just sitting, talking, and listening to him pour out his dreams, which I kept shutting them down. Lord knows I did. I kept shutting this man's dreams down. I'm going to tell you something, men. If a woman sits there and tell you that it's no hope for you in that area of your life, or you're not good enough to be in that position or role, that may be a woman who really just don't want you to get ahead in life, because that's what I had told him. I was like, no, you wouldn't be good as a manager. You need to stick to cutting hair. I mean, try to build your business cutting hair and let the music industry take care of the music industry. And he would be like, I got this artist, and I'd be like, again, this artist just isn't good enough. I need you to go back and get this artist developed, and then come and see me, and I'll see if I can talk to my people about them. And then sometimes he would send me artists. I'd be like, this artist suck. Like, what are you doing? Trying to hurt my name? Sometimes the artist wouldn't suck. Artists would be really good. But I didn't want him to get ahead. I didn't want him to feel like he had that type of control over me. Even though the artist was good, I probably bypassed plenty of artists that was good, for the fact that I just didn't want to feel locked in, or like we had that type of bond thing, because we didn't. So Gary the supporter, he didn't realize why I changed and started being cold toward him. He knew there was a difference about me, and he was like, is everything okay with you? I'm like, everything is fine with me. That day at the hotel, it happened. We had a great time. But he left. He left me there at that hotel and didn't come back. He said he was going to the store to pick up something to do with some, I don't know. He already had blunts, so I don't know what he was going to pick up. But he said he was going to pick up something and he'd be right back. And this was after we had talked for about an hour. And then that's when he was like, I got to go somewhere. I'll be right back. He had got a text. He left out that room. That joker did not come back. I waited in that room for 1 hour. And I was texting him and calling him. He didn't never answer me back. That's why I started turning down his orders. That's why I stopped giving him the time of day, because, dude, you didn't set me up. You left me sitting here for a whole hour, and he never returned back to that hotel room. And here's why he didn't return back. He didn't return back because his wife had a tracker on the car, And she tracked him to the hotel, my dumb self sitting up in there, and she told him that she was outside waiting and finna cut up. And she said, if you don't give me my car, I'm going to call the law and make a scene. That was like, when this guy do come back to himself and try to talk to me, I'm going to bring him down. I took that dude down, you hear me? When he came back to me, after I found all that out, that's what had happened, man, I went inside that dude's head like, baby, I love you. I love you. Thank you for spending time with me. When he would least expect it, I would come up with all kind of scenarios to stress him out. I would just stress. I would nag him. I'd be like, oh, but you said you were going to come up here. Do you got $25? You got $30? Can you pay for my phone bill? My minute's about to get cut off. Can you pay for them? Yeah, I would say that. I'd be like, I gotta pay rent. Can you send me some money for my rent? Like, I stressed him financially out. See, there's more than one way to stress a man out. And don't just think it's by nagging, but sometimes it's financially stressing a person out. I financially stretched him till he said, girl, I ain't even got nothing to make my car payment. And he turned around and he came to me and he was like, do you think I can borrow? Say what now? Say that again. I can't hear you. I got selective hearing all of a sudden. Do you think I can borrow $390? I got to make this car payment. Dude ain't heard from me since. Anyway, Gary the supporter shows back up years later. Found me on a radio station. That's how he found me. And he started trying to pick up where we left off from. That was one cat I couldn't pick up where we left off from. Because now I knew he was married. I couldn't deal with him. See, that's one of my strictest rules right there. Don't be married. Marriage, I do believe in marriage. I believe in unity, the commitment. Whether I was bitter or not, I still believe that if a person was married, they had no business outside of the marriage. And that I was not fixing to help nobody break up their home like that. So when I found out that he was married, that kind of ended a lot of stuff for me. So I hope Gary's out there listening. And hey, Gary, the supporter. Because he still supported, he still supported listening to my radio station. And anything I did, he still supported it. I just don't deal with him. But he'll still, he'll hit me up from time to time and say, hey, I listened to your show last night. I liked it. I hope you're listening to this one, Gary. Because you did your wife wrong. That was wrong. She didn't deserve. And she was a pretty black woman. She wasn't ugly. And you know what? Come to find out, he really do like big women. He liked them plus size women. Because she was a plus size woman too. And it was the baby of his mama. It was his child mama. And I just couldn't do it. But Gary had to pay some kind of way. So I took money from him. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all, if I just went out. Gary did have to pay. I took money from him, and that was it. Other than that, I was like, when I really did get to the point where I let him know that I knew he had a wife, I was like, you shouldn't have lied. And I did go off. I went off about it. I said, you shouldn't have lied like that because no woman deserves that. And that was it for Gary the supporter.